Welcome in to this special live breaking news edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us as we have breaking news within the last hour. Sam Howell of the Washington Commanders is headed to Seattle as the Seahawks are giving up a 3rd and 5th round pick in this year's draft in exchange for Howell, a 4th and a 6th round pick. We will react to it all, get your thoughts on the move. We will get you all the numbers, tell you everything you need to know about Sam Howell coming up in just a matter of moments as well. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're watching from. And as we are out of the gates, ready to go here on this Thursday afternoon, our 3rd time being live this week. We were with you on Monday for day 1 of free agency. We were here yesterday for the start of the new league year, and now here we are reacting to this trade as the Seahawks add another quarterback. We found out Drew Lock was going to the New York Football Giants. Now Seattle brings in Sam Howell to be the backup quarterback behind Geno Smith. They could have had a guy like Justin Fields potentially. Instead, they go with Sam Howell, who was the starter for the majority of the year last year in Washington. Check it in the chat. I see Richard in Seattle, Rico in Syracuse, got Mr. Football in Seattle, Chris in Spokane, Baby Dre in Tacoma, got Jason in Washington, D.C., David in Lakewood, Ethan in St. Louis, Isaac in Salem, Joker in Greensboro, Timothy in Utah, Jim in Marysville, Washington, got Chaston in Post Falls, Idaho, Phobia in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I got Yenerd in Grit City. I got Sam in Everett. I got Spokane Valley, Apollo in Klamath Falls, Kevin in Vancouver, Gustavo in Brazil. Got Colin in Durham, North Carolina, DJ in Knoxville, Cannon in Portland, Oregon. I got London in the chat, Salem, plenty of others, everybody all over across the country, across this great land, reacting to this news. Sam Howell headed to Seattle. Who won the trade? Was it the Seahawks or was it the Commies? What do you guys think? Type S for Seattle, W for Washington. Weigh in the chat. Let us know what you think. Who won the trade, the Seahawks or the Commanders? I'll bring in my producer today. Smitty normally here with me, but he's busy with other assignments today, so he's taking care of other business. But sitting in his place, making his debut on Seattle Seahawks Today, pleased to welcome in Colin Brown, a.k.a. known as Colin around here. And I'm pleased to report, by the way, folks, even though Smitty's not here, diehard Seahawk fan, Colin is also a diehard Seahawk fan. So one in the family. Colin, welcome in your debut to Seahawks Today. What a day to be making your debut as Sam Howell is joining the Seattle Seahawks. First off, welcome. Secondly, give us your reaction to the Seahawks making this trade.
Well, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate to be here with the 12s. First time, let's have a day.
Everybody welcome Colin. Spam Colin in the chat.
Let's have a day. One word reaction to this news, I was dumbfounded. This was one of those things where Sam Howell didn't even finish the year with the Commanders. You gave up draft capital when you didn't need to, when you probably could have gotten a replacement level backup somewhere else. And now, you know, Mike Macdonald's criticism, or I guess lack of faith, I should say, in Geno Smith really now is apparent with this acquisition of Sam Howell. And this is a move that I'm still just trying to wrap my head around because it's not great, in my opinion. It's not great.
I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'll have my full reaction here in just a bit. Don't want to spoil too much. That's what we call tease in the biz. I am not a fan of this trade at all. I am skeptical, to say the least, about this move. I'll explain more in a minute. But I want to hear from you guys. Who won the trade, Seattle or Washington? Greg says Seattle. Ron says Washington. Ron, Washington. Jeremiah says Seattle. Let's see. What else we got here in the chat? A lot of welcomes to Cullen. Everybody giving a nice welcome to Cullen. That's good to see. Beast Mode says Seattle. Let's see. We got some others. Aaron says Seattle. Ty Man says Seattle. S for Seattle. W for Washington. What do you guys think? Weigh in the chat. Let us know. Metcalf Prod says Seattle easily. Beast Mode says Seattle. Shady says Seattle. This is funny. Phobia says, damn, we didn't sign Smitty.
I know.
Smitty went away in free agency. No.
Listen, I know Smitty's got a good reputation here, so I'm going to try to live up today.
Smitty will be back next week. Don't worry, folks. Jim says Washington. Nerd says Washington. George says Washington. All right. And some super chats rolling in.
Yep.
Already, Mark Sanchez is here.
Yep.
We'll get back to our questions in a moment. Let's catch up on super chats here. Shane says, do we still draft a QB and try to trade Geno later in the offseason? I'm intrigued by how. Geno's not going anywhere. Geno, despite this trade, is still the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2024. That does not change. Howell is the backup. But Colin, I will say this. Geno's had some injury issues the last couple of years. And as the Seahawks, you got to be thinking, all right, we're a borderline playoff team. Mm-hmm. If Geno goes down, we got to have a guy that we can trust to win us a game or two, maybe more if something happens there. Say what you want. I don't like what they gave up for Sam Howell, but Sam Howell can still win you a game when you need to, much like Drew Lock did last year against Philadelphia. I think Sam Howell can do that. That would be the silver lining, I would say, of all this.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree with that. I think Sam Howell in a spot start, like you said, or maybe, in a stretch like 2, 3, 4 games or something like that, he can really go on a nice run. I mean, at one point he was leading the NFL in passing yards last year. We know he can fill up the box. He had like a decent receiving core there in Washington. Now he comes over, Jackson Smith and Jigba, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and, Ryan Grubb coming in as the OC. It could create a really interesting dynamic if it ever came to the place where Sam Howell's coming in. I just, like you said, the draft capital given up, I'm still scratching my head for.
Yeah. Mark Sanchez, the great one, checking in the chat. Mr. Butt Fumble himself. I didn't know we traded for a female country singer. Yeah, Mark. So Colin, now that you're filling in for Smitty today, we got some great songs around here, the Seahawks playlist. Okay. And so with that, like a couple $5 super chats coming in, we're going to sing the Old Macdonald song.
Okay.
So it's Old Macdonald Had a Farm, CIEI Hawks.
Okay. Old Macdonald had a farm, CIEI Hawks.
Right. So This is for Mark. Mark Sanchez, much cheers to you. $5 super chat. Here we go. Old Macdonald had a farm, CIEI Hawks. There we go. Nice work. King of Shorts. I believe that's the first time super chat.
Yes.
Do you know how to do that?
Let's see. Yep.
Here we go. King of Shorts. Well, the first time super chat. Now the Seahawks chant for King of Shorts. Go ahead and throw that up there.
Yep.
Oh, not for Malcolm.
Yep,
King of Shorts.
There we go.
So, Colin, you'll say C, and I'll say Hawks, and we'll go back and forth. So,
all right.
For King of Shorts, Seahawks, 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 Spam King.
Let's go.
Spam King. Show some love for King in the chat. That first time super chat. Much love to you, King. Thanks for sending in that $1 super chat. Malcolm with a $5 super chat. And this is the question I think that everybody's going to be asking. So our GM didn't pursue Justin Fields. Why? I think you could have gotten Justin Fields for a third-round pick. And you traded down, pick swaps and all that, but I would feel much better if this was a trade for Fields rather than Sam Howell right now.
I agree, 100%. Like, it's one of those things where Fields' market with this move is still going down. And now, we'll see if the Bears are able to get a day 2 pick for him. I mean, Fields clearly showed some flashes of talent. He's obviously not going to be in Seattle now with this move, but yeah, I'm still dumbfounded, man. I know I'm trying to be positive here, but I can't understand it, man.
So with that, now we sing the DK song.
Okay.
We had to change up a little bit since Pete Carroll's gone now. It's Chompin', Seahawks chompin', not Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Geno passes, no one's stopping DK. Touchdowns all day, he rules.
All right.
So Colin's first time doing the DK song. Be a little patient with him, folks.
I got you.
Here it is. Chompin', Seahawks chompin'. Geno passes, no one's stopping DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Kyle with a $2 super chat. I bet Sam beats out Geno for the starting job. I just don't see that happening, Kyle. Barring an injury to Geno. I don't think that's the case, but appreciate the super chat. And then another first time super chatter.
Let's go.
For Thomas.
Yes.
Seahawks, Spam Spam Thomas. Spam Thomas in the chat.
Let's go.
Thomas, much appreciated. Thanks for sending that $5 super chat, my guy. I trust in whatever is going on and written, but bruh, a third and a fifth for a fifth rounder that had way too many interceptions. Where's the logic? I don't understand. Thomas. I'm very confused, much like you. Let's go to the super chat menu to show these people what they're buying today. As we have about 500 people watching. Here is what's on the menu today, folks. If you would like to get on today's show, like the people you've been seeing, here's how you can contribute. Any super chat equals a beer cheers. I'll crack open a cold Miller Lite right now. Cheers to the folks. A fine Pilsner beer.
Fine Pilsner beer.
$5 super chat. We'll do the old McDonald song or the DK song, either one, whatever you choose. $10 super chat. You get a raffle ticket for the Seahawk knives set we're giving away at the end of the month. $20 super chat. You get your name added to our Seahawks Today football. You get to be in the MVP club. You can see we've already filled up the top half. Now we got to start filling up the second half of the football. $20, you get your name added. $50, we'll do a beer bong. Whether you love this trade, whether you hate this trade, we can celebrate and have some beer bongs, or we can drown our sorrows away, depending on how you feel. $50 super chat gets you a beer bong, and we will do that with a $50 super chat. If we reach $300 collectively on today's show, we'll take down Das Boot. 3 beers in one.
Das Boot.
If we reach 300 collectively. Colin, I don't know how you're feeling today. Would you be potentially down to make your first ever boot on the show happen?
I'd be down.
There you go, folks.
I'd be down.
We get to 300. We get the first ever Colin boot on Seahawks Today. So there you have it there. A couple more super chats, and then we got some other stuff to get to here. Caleb. Is he a first-time super chat?
He is.
He is. Caleb says, Hal behind Geno fixes Hal's decision-making? I don't think so. But Caleb, I still like the first-time super chat. One more time. This one for Caleb. Seahawks! Seahawks! See! Let's go, Caleb. Hawks. I forgot the last Hawks. Spam Caleb in the chat. Show Caleb some love. Much appreciated. Thanks for that super chat. The man himself says, sorry, prepping for 4 to 5 years losing record. Come on now, the man himself. Let's have some hope around here.
Let's have some good vibes.
I may not like the trade, but I still feel good about the future of the Seahawks here. Then we got another first-time super chatter coming in.
Shout out to Scott.
This one's for Scott. Seahawks! 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 Let's go, Scott!
Let's go.
Let's go, Scott! Spam Scott in the chat. Scott coming up big. Super chats are rolling. And Scott, you are entered to win the knives we'll give away at the end of the month. Much appreciated to you, Scott. Thanks for sending that super chat. Doom says, Johnny Newton or JPJ at 16? Who's he saying JPJ?
Jackson Powers Johnson.
Justin. Okay, yes. Thank you.
Yep.
I think the defensive line is a bigger priority. I like both players, though. But I lean towards Johnny Newton there, Colin, personally speaking. What about you? Who do you lean towards there?
I'm a big Jackson Powers Johnson guy. I love Jackson Powers Johnson. I know taking a center maybe that high, the value may not be there, but if the Seahawks draft they draft Jackson Powers Johnson in the first round, I'm a happy camper.
All right, let's go back to the DK song now.
Okay.
For Doom.
Okay.
Chopping, Seahawks chopping. Geno passes, no one's stopping. DK. Touchdowns all day. Heroes. Thank you, Doom. $10 super chat from Teddy. Teddy writes in, 100% rather have Howell over Fields. More years under rookie contract, barely gave up any draft capital, just trading down 2 picks. He's younger than most QBs available to us. If you are a fan of this trade, Colin, that's your thought. That's
exactly.
What you're telling yourself.
100%. Yeah, you're basically saying, we believe Sam Howell can start for us. Get what you need to get him. You clearly value him more than Justin Fields, and he's under a rookie deal. But I feel like you could have gotten replacement level value for somebody else on the market for a lot cheaper.
A couple more super chats coming in.
Yep, got them.
As they keep rolling here. We'll kind of go rapid fire because we do got to get to this cut here in just a second.
Yep.
Samuel says, I feel like we have to trade down from 16 now. And maybe. Colin, I'm of the belief it all depends on how the board looks.
Absolutely.
If Brock Bowers is there, no, you're not trading down.
No.
If Dallas Turner is there, no, you're not trading down.
I like Jared Verse too.
But if some of the guys you're looking at are gone, then yes, you trade down. Mark with another 5. Devin Bush just signed another team, depending on the amount, could give us a comp pick. It all depends on the number of free agents you sign and vice versa, potentially. But that's a possibility there. Back to the great Old Macdonald song from Mark Sanchez. Old Macdonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. Thanks, Mark. Cooper with a 5. What happened to that growth mindset? This is too safe. He'll be solid. I like him, but Justin would have been fun to see. Yeah, he would have. He would have been fun to see. Nobody's arguing that, Cooper. I'm with you 100% on that front there. Thanks, Cooper, for that. DK song.
Yeah.
Choppin', Seahawks choppin'. Gino passes, no one stopping. DK. Touchdowns all day. Heroes. Thank you, Cooper.
Let's go.
King of Shorts says, I'm not sure why we aren't signing linebackers. Yeah, and there was a fake news report today about Devin White and Isaiah Simmons visiting. Mm-hmm. That was not true. But we'll see. We need some linebackers. I'm starting to get nervous of why they aren't signing any linebackers at this point.
Kind of need those at this point.
Michael Hyde writes in, considering our lack of linebackers, our refusal to address linebacker in free agency, and our lack of picks, is Dallas Turner, linebacker for Bama, in the 15th ranked prospect, a lock at 16. Also have some faith, Jones. Michael, I keep it 100. I keep it real with y'all around here. Okay? I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to hear. All right? I'm still rooting for Sam Howell. Let me make that clear. I'll say this. Dallas Turner's an edge rusher, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not going to fix your linebacker issue bringing in Dallas Turner. Is he a lock at 16? He's a lock if he's available there and Brock Bowers is gone. But honestly, if I were to guess, I don't think Turner's still around at 16.
I don't think so either. I think Atlanta could scoop him up at 8. I mean, he could easily go top 10, and I feel like the Saints could potentially grab him. I don't know. I mean, if he's there, I think you said it. You take him. But
I love that people are asking, did Smitty get fired? Because there was rumors, chat sports rumors about that the last couple of days. Our boss was not happy with his comments about Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Yeah. Smitty did have a 5 a.m. meeting, but he got to keep his job. But he's not allowed on Seahawks for today as his punishment from James Yoder. Another $5 super chat. Jordan writes in with a 5. First-time super chatter. We'll pay that off accordingly. Just a second. Yep. I think this move is actually really good. He is going to be our backup for at least a year. He can learn from Gino. We just swap picks. We'll see. I don't feel great about it, but we'll see what he does getting out of the Commanders situation too. That team's a dumpster fire.
To me, like knowing John Schneider, I would rather Schneider have the picks, who he's very capable of hitting on late round picks. I mean, Schneider's shown an incredible ability to find talent in the later rounds. I feel like those picks could have been used at a better place than getting Sam Howell, a backup quarterback.
Seahawks chant for Jordan.
Yep. Seahawks!
Seahawks! Seahawks! Let's go, Jordan! Let's go, Jordan! Much appreciated, Jordan. Zach is also a first-time super chatter.
Yep.
I say we trade up and get a good edge like Turner. Well, that's the thing about trading up now becomes harder because you just moved on from a third-round pick.
Exactly.
Because if you're trading up now, you're probably giving up a player. I don't know.
It's getting hairy at that point.
Zach, another first-time super chatter.
Seahawks!
Seahawks! Seahawks!
Let's go.
There we go.
Appreciate y'all rocking. First time.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated, y'all. Let's go ahead and spam S in the chat. So here's what we do, folks. On game days, on Seahawks Today, when we're doing our live watch parties, we have the chat spam us, and that's like a rallying cry. Look, we understand not everybody could be at Lumen Field, and we understand that not everybody could be in the stadium rooting on their favorite team. So what we do is we take the chat and we try to make it as loud as we can for all the 12s to make sure they can hear us throughout this great country, throughout this great land. And over this next minute, I want to see who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP here on Seahawks Today. I want to see as many S's as we can over this next minute. We'll put a minute on the clock, and Cullen's going to shout out everybody that's spamming S. So on my count, get those S's going. We'll see who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go. I got 2 times J. I got, let's see, Stephanie. Come on, let's get these JJ. I got Obsolete. I got Gregory. I got Corey. I got Daniel, Gary, US Nerd. I've got, wow, these Ty, Doug, Athletic Tech. Keep it rolling in. Stephanie, Tie-Dye, DJ, Phobia, Ante Parish. Come on, keep them rolling in. Keep them rolling in. Gary.
Faster.
Let's go. Pac-Man, Richard, Oscar, or Oliver, I should say. Obsolete, Shelton, DJ again, Wakas, Ron, Doug, Jim, Seth. I got Christopher, Jim.
20 seconds to go. Finish strong.
Josh, Pac-Man, Shelton, Michael, Jim, Ron, Athletic, Malcolm, Seth, Jim, Sam.
5 seconds.
Seth, Jim, JJ, Dwayne, Jarrett, Stephanie, Ron, Gary, DJ, Josh, Charles, Ty, Gina. Oh,
there we go.
Josh, Gina,
good work.
Dory.
Who do you think you saw the most?
I saw a lot of Ty.
A lot of Ty.
A lot of Ty.
A lot of tie-dye?
Tie-dye.
Tie-dye, the early favorite to be MVP today. Let's see. We got 88 likes right now. I need you guys to like the video. Before we start our live edition here at Seahawks Today and get into this full breakdown of Sam Howell, I need you guys to like the video. I'm at 89 likes right now. I need to get to at least 120. 120. And that's a conservative number, if I'm going to be honest with you, to start today's show. And when I do, when we get to 120 likes, I'm taking a big chug of this Miller Lite. But I need your help to get there, folks. 30 likes away. Like the video. If you love the Seahawks, if you're excited that Sam Howell's coming to Seattle, if you're having a great time hanging out with Jonesy and Brownie on Seahawks Today, do people call you that? You got that?
That works.
Okay, Brownie.
It's another nickname I got.
Another nickname, Brownie. Better than Moose. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
10 more likes away. There we go.
Come on, like it up. Like it up.
Keep on. Run up the score. Run up the score.
Let's go.
Run up the score. Keep on liking that video. I'll take a big chug.
Salute.
Let's get a submarine while we're at it, too.
All right, let's.
I'll take another chug, too. I know we got some new people watching. For those of you that it may be your first time, or first time you've watched this in a while, we are Seattle Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. We bring you daily news and rumors. We're live every Wednesday, also every game day as well. We're going to be live during the NFL draft. We are your Seahawks offseason headquarters. Whenever they make a move, we're the first to talk about it. We bring you instant reaction and analysis that you're not going to get anywhere else. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed to Seahawks Today. We're going to put the sub link in the chat right now.
Yep.
Join the family. We're getting very close to 51,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today, but we need your help to get there. Sub it up in the chat. Sub for dubs. You want dubs all season long, you got to subscribe to the channel. Let us know when you're subscribed as well, and we'll show you some love as we get going here on Seahawks Today. Link is in the chat right now. Owen, I'll get to your super chat real fast, and then we got to get this cut going.
Okay.
Owen and Ray, just real quick.
Yep, let me.
Here we go. Owen, always a pleasure to see you, my guy.
Always a pleasure. All right. Got Owen up there.
Owen says, how do we feel about Howell? What's next to the Hawks? We're not feeling great. I can tell you that. Yeah. What's next? Got to go get linebackers.
You have to.
Need linebackers and interior offensive line help. Owen, thanks for that $10 super chat. That's another entry for the Seahawk knives we will give away at the end of the month. Much appreciated to you, Owen. We're not feeling great about Sam Howell. Ray says, $5 super chat. I tried to have faith, but this move means we're passing on Bo Nix, Justin Fields, Michael Penix, McCarthy. For Sam Howell, L move. All season disaster so far. That does make it seem unlikely that Seahawks probably draft a quarterback here, Cullen.
Yeah, no, I had a slim hope that Seattle maybe could trade up, maybe for Penix, maybe for Nix, maybe McCarthy, whoever that'd be. It's all out the window now. I'd say it's less than a % chance that we actually trade up at this point.
Yeah, it's not looking great. We'll do the old Macdonald song, and then we'll get into the cut here.
Okay.
Old Macdonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. Very good.
All right.
We're close to $100 in super chats. We need to get to 300 for Colin to do the boo. And you can do that boo pretty fast, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You
can see for yourselves if we get to $300. We're at 100 roughly right now, so 200 more to go, and we can make the boot happen. All right, let's get to it. Breaking news. Sam Howell to Seattle. Let's talk about it right now here on this special breaking news edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. We have a trade. The Seattle Seahawks have traded with the Washington Commanders to bring in quarterback Sam Howell in exchange for multiple draft picks. Welcome in to this instant reaction edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with the tweet from ESPN's Adam Schefter breaking the news this afternoon. Another QB trade. Commanders are sending last year's starter Sam Howell to the Seahawks in a pick swap per sources. And let's go over those trade details. We'll show it for you on your screen. The Seahawks received Sam Howell, a 2024 fourth-round pick at 102, a 2024 sixth-round pick at 197 in exchange for giving up the 78th overall pick in the third round and the fifth-round pick at 152. So to kind of put this in a nutshell, the Seahawks are trading down from the third to the fourth, from the fifth to the sixth to bring in Sam Howell here. I'll be honest, I hate this. I do not like this trade at all for the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are getting a guy that will not ever be their franchise quarterback. Okay? And they're giving up draft capital to do it. The thing that I've been telling you folks over the last couple of weeks, that for the Seattle Seahawks, what they have to start thinking about is the post-Geno Smith era. And the post-Geno Smith era involves finding a new quarterback through the draft, a young potential franchise quarterback, right? That could be done this year. That could be done next year. Now what this does, what this signals to me, the Seahawks, in all likelihood, are not going to draft a quarterback, that they are delaying the inevitable one more year, and they're settling for an average QB. I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's that bad. He was in a bad situation with the Washington Commanders, so I give him the benefit of the doubt about that. But you traded for a backup quarterback that's not your long-term solution, and you gave up draft capital to do it. Every pick matters. I don't like the idea of moving out of the third round with one of your third-round picks and moving out of the fifth round when you already didn't have a second-round pick. What's your one-word reaction? I'll give you my one-word reaction in just a bit. Want to hear from you guys first. What do you guys think? What is your one word to the Sam Howell trade? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. It has been a busy, hectic week on the channel. No one has covered this team like we have here on Seahawks Today. We're live on day one of free agency for 7 hours. Okay? We were live for the first day of the league year on Wednesday. We're live for the Sam Howell trade. We're reacting to it all. We're built different here on Seahawks Today. And we're getting oh so close to 51,000 subscribers. We need your help to do it. If you love your Seattle Seahawks, we are the channel for you. We are your offseason headquarters. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed to Seahawks Today. Join the family now for the latest happenings in your favorite team. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. My one-word reaction, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to go with an acronym. WTF. What are we doing? What are we doing? This came out of left field, and it's a trade that doesn't make sense. Here's the reality. You want to know who Sam Howell is? In all honesty, he's a name that actually should be very familiar with Seahawks fans. He's Drew Lock 2.0. That's what he is. He's capable of making big plays, but he is very turnover prone. And this guy gets sacked a lot. Granted, he had a bad O-line in Washington, but he's somebody that holds on the ball too long. I'll say this, like the silver lining when it comes to Sam Howell is that as far as being asked to be a backup, Sam Howell's fine as a backup. If Geno were to go down and get injured, which we've seen, Geno's had some injury problems the last couple of seasons, he could come in for me and win me a game in a spot start, which could be the difference in making the playoffs or not. But I'm sitting here saying to myself, why didn't you just pay for Drew Lock rather than giving up draft capital for Sam Howell if I'm giving up the same guy? That's the head scratcher here in all this. More on Sam Howell, a former fifth-round pick out of North Carolina. Before his final season with the Tar Heels, he was expected to be the number one quarterback in college football. He was a Heisman candidate and had a very disappointing final year with the North Carolina Tar Heels under Mac Brown. It was just simply a disaster, his final year there at North Carolina. Slides all the way from potentially being the number one pick to the fifth round. His record as a starter in the National Football League so far, not great. 5-13, 4-13 this past season there in the offense under Eric Bieniemy there with the Washington Commanders. He led the NFL in interceptions this past year, 21 total to be exact, and he ended up getting benched Week 15 in favor of Jacoby Brissett, who's another backup himself. The numbers from Sam Howell this past season, a completion percentage around 63%, just over 232 yards per game, had a total of 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. You got the good, you got the bad, and you got the ugly. Now, some of you are going to sit here and say, he should be the starting quarterback, that this is your escape route from Geno Smith. And I'm going to just tell you right now, that's ridiculous. Sam Howell is not better than Geno Smith. This is still Geno's team. This is still Geno's job. Just like John Schneider told us a couple of weeks back, that it's Geno's job until somebody says otherwise, right? He is not starting for the Seahawks. He's not taking the job away from Geno. Let's make that very clear. Make that very clear. That he's not taking the job away from Geno unless Geno gets hurt and he balls out and doesn't give the job back. That's the only scenario where Sam Howell wins this job long term. This is still Geno's team. This is still Geno's team. Sam Howell's not going to be the guy to be able to do that, personally speaking. What do you guys think? How would you grade the trade for Sam Howell? I'll give you my grade here in just a second. But I don't like it at all. I can tell you that right now. If you've been watching this show, you pretty much got the right idea. A, B, C, D, or F. What is your grade? Let us know in the comments section. Chime in. Tell me what you think. I'm going a big fat F. This is a terrible trade. And one more point that I want to hammer home as far as this goes when it comes to this trade, folks. I think it's very important of why I give this an F. Justin Fields is still on the market. Could have had Justin Fields. We mentioned the Drew Lock factor. You could have just paid $5 million to keep Drew Lock in town. Why Sam Howell? Sam Howell has no future as a starting quarterback in this league. He ain't that guy. What's the old meme? He ain't that guy. You're not that guy, bro. Sam Howell's not that guy. I give this an F because not only did you give up draft capital, but the other options out there. Why not Justin Fields then? okay? Why not go ahead and just keep Drew Lock for another year? And then the other thing of potentially now closing the door on drafting a quarterback. You got this great quarterback class this year. Now, you're probably not going to be positioned to get Caleb Williams or Drake May or Jaden Daniels, but a J.J. McCarthy, a Bo Nix, right? A Michael Penix Jr., and you shut down that door. That's the frustration for me. Now, let me make one thing very clear, all right? Before y'all go after my throat and take me out of context and all that, I want to make one thing very clear. I'm still rooting for Sam Howell. I hope Sam Howell has a great career. I hope things go very well for him with the Seattle Seahawks, and I hope he proves me wrong and turns out to be a great option for Seattle and maybe the long-term solution for the Seahawks. I am giving him my full support. I want to see him succeed. But as of now, I got my doubts. Subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings in your favorite team all off-season long. Man, what an interesting week it's been already. Still more to come. Subscribe now, your Seahawks off-season headquarters, right here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you next time. All right. So, there you have it. That is my full, unadulterated reaction. Cullen's going to rejoin me now. Cullen, you heard all my thoughts, my monologue and all that there. What's go back to the one-word reaction. Yeah. What's now your thoughts after hearing what I had to say there? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you nailed it right on the head. If Sam Howell works out, then this is, you could argue, depending on how he works out, a steal. The likelihood of that happening, I can't see it. And it's nothing to do with Sam Howell, the player. Seems like a nice guy.
Like I said, we're rooting for him.
Yeah, 100%. If he, comes out next year.
If he succeeds, we all succeed.
Exactly. Like I said, this is a head-scratching move from a guy in John Schneider that I have a lot of respect for.
Did you let him know the cut's finished in production?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Cool. What's your one-word reaction? Kenny's got the right idea. Apollo says crying. Michael says fine. Trevor says another Drew Lock. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid.
But Cullen, hey, I'll step in at guard if they need me.
We need help.
I'll step in. I'm built more like a fullback, but I'll step in at guard if they need me.
What did you play in high school?
Oh, I was all-team bench. All-state. All-state.
All-state scout team.
Oh, yeah. All-state film room.
They want to know, can you play defensive tackle?
I can rush the passer a little bit. I can eat up some blocks. We just need some linebackers to follow me.
Right.
So.
Cullen's going to be asked to do it all. We're going to need him to play both ways. We're going to have him play guard on one side. We're going to play D-tackle on the other.
Get down and dirty.
As far as that goes. Let's go back to Super Chat menu.
Okay. Let's do that.
Peter says, I'm just mad at what we gave up for him. I get that. Believe me, Peter. I totally get that. Any Super Chat equals a beer cheers. $5, the old Macdonald song. $10 gets you a raffle ticket for the Seahawk knives. $20 gets you on the Seahawks Today Football Hall of Fame. $50 will do a bear bong. We're at $100 in Super Chats roughly right now. We got to get to 300 today. For Cullen's first ever boot. I need a Cullen boot on today's show. We need to make it happen. He's a Seahawk fan. He's a 12 through and through.
I want to show what the 12's what I got.
He wants to show off. He wants to show up and show out. And here's your chance to make it happen. $sign next to the chat box if you want to contribute. We are not doing a mailbag today.
No mailbag.
So the only way you can be on screen and get your message across, look, we got so many messages. I can't see everybody. That's just not possible. The only way you can guarantee to be on screen that we can see your message is by sending a super chat. Like Kenny's using hashtag Seahawks. Kenny, there's no mailbag today. That ain't happening. You got to send in a super chat if you want to get on screen. So.
Also, one thing that's not mentioned on the screen right now, it keeps us live. if we send in super chats, because, I mean, this
Right.
space.
We got a lot going on today.
Yeah.
I could be doing other stuff here, but I'm here with the 12s right now. So if you guys want to keep this show going and keep having a good time, then we got to get the super chats rolling. So
Need it.
that is the super chat menu if you'd like to contribute. And let's party. Let's have a good time today.
Let's have a good time.
Even if we're not the biggest Sam Howell fans, we can still enjoy ourselves here today. Cullen, let's do this next.
Okay.
Actually, let me make one more point real quick.
Okay.
I would have personally, Cullen,
Mm-hmm.
I would have rather given up a 6th-round pick for Mac Jones than what they just did here.
Yeah. No, I don't hate that. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of Mac either, but if you're going to go for a backup level quarterback, what?
I like Mac more than I do Sam Howell.
Yeah, at least Mac's had a season where he was a Pro Bowler. I don't know. To be honest, would have rather gotten somebody vet minimum, you know. I'm still I'm dumbfounded. I'm still dumbfounded.
It's a shock.
It is really. So, given this is my first time on
Cullen.
Seahawks Today,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, what
right.
is your overall outlook, given free agency up to this point, draft coming up next month, where's your head at?
So,
Because I need to know.
So, Cullen, here's how I'm feeling here
Okay.
when it comes to the Seahawks. I think Mike Macdonald coming in, John Schneider at GM, and it feels like a reset button for Schneider with Pete Carroll not overseeing him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a 2-year plan. This year, your goal ought to be a playoff team. You've gone 9-8 the last 2 seasons. Last year, you underachieved. You should have been a playoff team, but you obviously didn't. I think the expectation should be to get into the postseason, to be a playoff caliber team. And then from there, in year 2, you build upon it, and hopefully you're contending for the NFC. I think that should be the expectation. A 2-year job that's ahead for Schneider and Macdonald to get back to competing for the top of the conference.
I like it. I think I mean, ultimately, with quarterbacks nowadays, if you look at quarterbacks coming on a rookie pay scale, by year 2, around Thanksgiving, that's when you really know when a quarterback, kind of where he is. Is he going to be elite, middle of the pack, or, on the scrap heap probably. For coaches, I kind of like that. You really, 2 years. McDonald's a schematical genius on defense. We shouldn't even have really 2 months to figure out if he can coach this team or not and lead this team to where it needs to be. So I dig it. I think it's a smart process there.
2-year plan. That's what I'm looking at. Doug with a $2 super chat. Are you old enough? Do you remember the show Doug on Nickelodeon?
Very, when I was younger, but yes.
Okay.
I do very vaguely remember it.
Doug was a great show. Doug Stevens with that piece of pizza. That looks good.
That does look good.
Pizza. How is like luck? Will only cost $2 million for 2 years. That would be, I think, the case for Sam Howell, if you were comparing him to Drew Lock, is that his price tag is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a ton of money at all.
No.
That would be one thing to his credit. I will say that Doug makes a good point. He doesn't cost you a lot.
No, he doesn't.
That's a good thing.
It is. But again, it's the draft capital that's so valuable nowadays. And honestly, I just can't stop staring at the pizza, to be honest. But
Doug, what kind of pizza you got there?
Honestly, the last time I went to Seattle, we stayed at this hotel. I can't remember. I think it starts with a W. But there was this pizza place within a block or 2 from it.
Okay.
Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Period. I haven't had, New York or Chicago style pizza or anything like that. But
whoa, call in.
I haven't had it. I said I haven't had it.
I know. How?
I haven't been to New York. I mean, I've had from here New York style or Chicago style, but
Colin, we got to change that. You need to go to New York. You need to go to Chicago. Get some real pizza.
I know. But I'm just saying, based on my experience, that was some of the best pizza I've ever had. It was in Seattle. So honestly, maybe the same pizza. I just can't remember the name of it, to be honest. But
that does look like some good pizza.
That's what I'm saying.
I love me some pizza. I could go for some pizza right now.
I wanted there to be pizza today. We got a.
I am actually honestly surprised that we are this many days into free agency and we haven't had pizza yet.
I know. voted for it.
I thought we'd have pizza by now, but nonetheless, today we had like Hawaiian food.
Yeah, wasn't bad, but nothing right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Ethnic food isn't usually my first choice.
Gotcha.
But it was okay. Doug, thanks for that $2 super chat, my guy. Here's back to the super chat menu. Dollar sign next to the chat box if you want to contribute. Here's how you can do so. We're at $100 super chats right now. Any super chat, give you a beer cheers. That's for Doug.
Yeah.
First time super chatters, you get the Seahawks chant. $5 super chat, Old Macdonald song. $10 super chat gets you a raffle ticket for the Seahawks knives. Got several entries on that, by the way, for this month. $20 gets your name added to the Seahawks football. And, folks, I'm going to toss this to Cullen, and so you can see what the football looks like. Cullen can see for himself. Good-looking ball, right?
That's what I'm saying. Look at that. Hold on. Can we? I'm not sure if that's centered.
Yeah, it's there.
Right there. I mean, can I take this home? I know I can. I know the answer, but, like, I want to.
That's a good football.
It's a really solid
with
football.
Our logo, too,
yeah.
for the show.
Another look at it. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
We already got some contestants, as I see.
That's gnarly.
That's a really good football.
I love it.
I love it.
It's good football. You can add your name to the football with a $20 super chat. Here it is.
Gotcha.
From one box to the next. Just like that. Scott with a $5 super chat. Scott says we need some inside linebackers. Come on, Hawks. Devin White, Isaiah Simmons at this point. Two completely different players, potentially. And contrary to the fake news out there, there's not a visit scheduled for either one.
Yep.
You look at Devin White, like you're talking experience, a guy that I think would be kind of similar to Bobby in that sense. Pro Bowl caliber player, won a Super Bowl, all that. Or you go with the young guy like Isaiah Simmons, who I don't feel like has even come close to reaching his potential yet, what he did in Arizona and what he did with the New York Giants. This is somebody, I've been following Isaiah Simmons for a long time. I covered him in high school when he was at Olathe East in Kansas, and went on to be a star with the Clemson Tigers.
Yep.
He's such a good athlete. I think he kind of reminds me, if I'm looking at Isaiah Simmons, potentially, Cullen, I think he can be similar to what Patrick Queen was for the Ravens, of just trying to find the right spot for him, let him really just go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad comp. Patrick Queen, obviously, the physical presence that came out of LSU. Isaiah Simmons has got really all the tools to dominate on the football field. I think it's partly due to what he had in Arizona, and obviously, I think he was also with the Giants and whatever, but he never really found his footing in terms of where he fits on the football field, and that can kind of hurt your development a little bit because so much of this game is like knowing spots, knowing angles, knowing where to be, knowing where the play is going to be. And you can have all the physical tools in the world, but you know, if you don't have the proper technique behind it, it can go wasted. So if he gets in the system, Mike Macdonald, scheme expert, if there's anybody that could turn the best out of Isaiah Simmons, it'd be old Coach Macdonald here in Seattle.
Which means we got the song about Old Macdonald himself.
There we go.
Old Macdonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. There we go. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Can you pull up the listicle with the Seahawks moves?
Seahawks moves? Yeah.
What they've done in free agency so far? Catch people up to speed here.
1 second.
We continue our live coverage here on Seahawks Today. Sam Howell off to Seattle. A trade that includes giving up a 3rd and 5th in exchange for Howell, a 4th and 6th. Here is what the Seahawks have done so far. Let's go down one by one here.
Okay.
Tyler Lockett, 2 years, $34 million, restructure. Noah Fant, 2 years, $21 million. With Noah Fant getting 2 years, $21 million, Colin, I look at that like, to me, you got to change his role. He has got to have a more increased presence when it comes to the passing game. I hated that from the Waldron Carroll regime. I hope that with that type of money you're giving to Noah Fant, that you're committing to using him as a receiving threat in a big way.
You can only hope. I mean, the fascination with Colby Parkinson at times was interesting. to say the least. I mean, Noah Fant, big part of obviously the Russell Wilson trade, came over, was a highly touted prospect, I believe, out of Iowa. I mean, chances are if he's a tight end coming out, he's probably from Iowa, but he needs to be featured in this offense more. I mean, I understand we have a really good trio of wide receivers. I mean, Tyler Lockett's getting up there in age. This guy should be easily a big third down target for Geno Smith and this entire offense. So hopefully they get involved. I mean, 2 years, $21 million. If that's not a commitment, I don't know what is, but at the end of the day, you still got to have the production behind it.
Yeah, Leonard Williams, 3 years, 64 and a half. A lot of people saying, did they overpay for Leonard Williams? Colin, when they made the trade, giving up a second and a fifth-round pick, they committed themselves. They said, like, they at that point, they made their bed, and you got to sleep in it. Like, 3 years, 64 and a half, they may have overpaid, but they didn't really have a choice after they made the trade they did.
Yeah, no, that you couldn't lose him. Giving up the draft capital that you did, he really did fill a need for Seattle. Now, there's obviously still more holes along the defensive line that they need to work on, but I think you nailed it right on the head. They had to have this guy back, able to retain him. 3 years, $64.5 million. We'll see what that looks like in a couple of years, but yeah, had to bring him back, and kind of happy they did, to be honest.
Super Chat coming in. Let's get back to this here in just a second.
Okay. Shout out.
Thriller night. Hold on 1 second. Can you who distroed Seahawks?
I believe it was Coop.
The intro's in twice. They can edit it on YouTube.
I'll message him. Just
let him know, like, hey, we need to edit out the intros there twice. Thriller with a $20 super chat. Thriller, you're getting your name out of the football, my guy. Thriller says, you think John and Mac were sitting back with a chuckle thinking, boy, we're about to piss off the fan base with this move. All I can say is WTF. Thriller, I'm going to add you to the football right now. You know, it's so interesting that we heard, back at the Combine, that John Schneider said, hey, we've only drafted 2 quarterbacks in 14 years. That's not something we're proud of. And then, John, you had a chance to go a different route, and you didn't do it. Like, you looked at this quarterback class, you're picking 16. I mean, I think Penix or Nix is going to slip to the second round. Maybe both, potentially.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to take advantage of going for a young rookie quarterback? Sam Howell is already 2 years in. I can tell you, he ain't doing anything. He ain't that guy.
He's a backup. That's what he is. I don't get it.
You let him know?
Yep, I did.
Sweet.
He's fixing it.
Sweet, thank you. Nate Robbins with a $2 super chat. Williams is a defensive anchor, a cornerstone. Nate, it's a great point. Leonard Williams was the best player on the Seahawks defense in the second half
by far
of 2023. You talk about investments and players on this defense. He is a cornerstone piece of this Seahawks defense for many years to come.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's getting up there in age. I want to say he's around 30 years old. I don't have that off the top of my head, but definitely a guy that made his impact in New York. He was a real force on a defensive line that featured him, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeau as well.
Yeah.
So it's, somebody that you obviously want to have in your locker room, want to have on your defensive line. Like I said, I'm really interested to see what this contract looks a year, 2 years, 3 years from, down the line. So hopefully it's good. But yeah, I agree with the sentiment that he is a defensive anchor for sure.
Let's go back to the list of our free agents here. A lot of people asking where Smitty is. Smitty, he got in trouble with the boss for throwing shade at J.J. McCarthy. And so he was not allowed to be on today's show.
You're stuck with me, unfortunately, guys.
So Colin's here. Colin's a Seahawks fan, though, and he's doing a great job filling in today. All right, here's the other names. Nick Harris, 1 year, 2.51. Oh, wait. We didn't get the last name in the last one.
Oh, yep. Here.
Hold on, folks.
Hold on.
Because we had Leonard Williams and then the super check coming.
Yep.
Let's talk Pharaoh Brown first.
Yep.
1 year, $3.2 million, and then we'll get to these super chats after we talk Pharaoh Brown.
Okay.
So this one was a cost-saving measure that actually made sense. You move on from Colby Parkinson and Will Dissly.
Yep.
You go to Pharaoh Brown, one of the best blocking tight ends in football. Was graded like top 10 by PFF last year.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a receiver.
Right.
But Noah Fant's not much of a blocker. Mm-hmm. So Noah Fant gets to go be the receiver. Pharaoh Brown gets to be the blocking tight end. Now you got a nice 1-2 punch, and you did it at a relatively cheap cost. And for a guy that played his college ball at Oregon, you bring him back to Pacific Northwest. I like bringing in Pharaoh Brown.
Yeah, no, especially whenever you mentioned it, whenever Will Dissly, you lost him in free agency. Will Dissly was his team's blocking tight end. Came in from Washington as a defensive lineman and really made a name for himself. Obviously just couldn't stay on the field health-wise, Yeah, Pharaoh Brown perfectly fits, the role that he kind of, is here for. Kind of similar to Mercedes Lewis in that way, if fans know. Really great blocking tight end that's been around the NFL for a minute. So I really like this move, and it's one of those underrated signings that John Schneider's known for.
All right, Seth, with a $2 super chat. Beer cheers to you, Seth.
Cheers.
We need linebackers, and we went after a backup quarterback. Well said, Seth.
Yep.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I still have no idea what Seattle's going to do with the linebacker spot. That remains to be seen. I would guess it's going to be a combination of free agent, notable free agent, and then the draft. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess.
I would guess
probably going young at this point because not a ton of money left. That random video guy, 98, getting his name added to the football. So far, this has been a rebuild, like I called, with Macdonald. The interesting thing I've been hearing is Howell is younger. Maybe that's why we went with him over others. Also, this rookie linebacker class, good. We need linebackers bad. Hate to break it to you, the off-ball linebacker class, not so great.
Not so great.
Not so great this year.
No.
I'll say this. If to give him the benefit of the doubt, if you will. What I like about Sam Howell, he plays fearless.
He does.
I mean, he can sling it, but he's going to turn the ball over too. I mean, you get the good with the bad.
21 interceptions to 21 touchdowns. I mean, that's Jameis Winston. So you're getting that similar kind of mold where he's willing to take chances down the field. You kind of have to live with the blunders that he'll bring to the team. But, like I said, there are worse backup options out there. And, again, he is young. He is cheap. Like I said, man, I keep circling back to Macdonald's lack of faith in Geno. And this is the route that they're taking.
Colin, I'm a big college football fan.
Right.
In fact, I'll be honest. I love college football more than I do the NFL. And for me, it's not just what we've seen in Washington. I remember vividly that final year for him at North Carolina. He was not good.
No.
That to me, it's not just the Commanders thing.
Right.
He was at North Carolina in a very weak ACC, might I add you.
Yes.
And played awful his final year when his expectation was to be a Heisman finalist. And came up well short.
I know. That's why he fell to the, fifth round?
Yeah.
When he came out?
When he was supposed to be the number one pick.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Jake Ballard getting his name added to the football. $20 super chat. Every $20 super chat gets you added to the Seahawks Football Hall of Fame. Says, I think gone are the days when we don't have to vastly overpay free agents due to our geographic location. I agree.
I do agree.
We need to build through the draft and hope Macdonald can perform miracles like some fans think he will. Jake, all of that. Great points. Great points, Jack. Did I call him Jake? My bad.
Yeah.
Jack Ballard. Jack, all of that is a great point. But here's one thing I'll say is while you are a team that is building through the draft, you just hurt your draft today. Mm-hmm. You made the draft harder on yourselves. Moving on from that third-round pick to the fourth round. Moving on from the fifth-round pick to the sixth round. If you're a team that is built on building through the draft, you didn't make things easier than that. Phobia says Bro was amazing at UNC. Phobia, you don't know ball, clearly. That last year, he was not. He was not. Up until his final year at UNC, he looked like the shit. And then the final year, He looked like shit. No, he was not. Don't rewrite history. Do not rewrite history, Phobia, because that's just not true. More on the players the Seahawks have added. Nick Harris, 1 year, $2.5 million. Nick Harris is interesting, Cullen, because this is a guy that came into the league as a center, had an ACL injury, lost his center job to a name that's very familiar to Seahawk fans, Ethan Posick, who actually turned out to be a good center for the Browns, as weird as that was.
Right.
And so they kind of got creative. They played him at fullback, and he was one of the best fullbacks in football. We moved on from Nick Bellore. Nick Bellore's gone. I don't know what Ryan Grubb has in mind for Nick Harris, whether he's playing center, whether he's playing fullback, whatever it is. I like the flexibility.
Yeah, that's a very interesting flexibility because you normally don't see center to fullback. You usually see like kind of a Bellore fullback to linebacker, or if it's your center, center to guard or what have you. Obviously, you lost, Evan Brown in free agency. Yeah, this is between him and Olu. We're going to have a new center in 2024. Could it be Nick Harris? I wouldn't mind it.
We'll talk about Artie Burns in a moment. Let's get to this next super chat.
Yep. Give me 1 sec. Where is it? Yep.
Tropics,
Oh.
who is a first time
Super
chatter for Tropics.
Seahawks!
Seahawks! Seahawks! Let's go, Tropics!
Go.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
How do we feel about trading pick 16 and maybe a late round pick for someone like Roquan Smith? Okay, I hate to break this to you, Tropics. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. But I can tell you this right now. Roquan Smith ain't getting traded.
Nope.
That's not happening. Tropics, it's a pipe dream. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. It's not happening.
Not happening. You had your chance to get Roquan Smith a couple years ago when he was on the trade market. And the Ravens didn't actually give up a ton to do that deal either.
No.
Looking back on it, you had to pay him a lot of money.
Right.
But, man, missed out on that. That could have been. But Tropics, we'll give you the DK song for being a first-time super chat.
Yeah.
Chopping, Seahawks chopping, Geno passes, no one stopping, DK. Touchdowns all day. E-rules. Much appreciated. Tropics, thanks for that. All right, back to the list. Artie Burns, 1 year deal. Nothing more than a depth piece. He's back for his third straight year. Cullen, Artie's holding that spot just until they find somebody better. That's all that is.
It is a placeholder at the end of the day. They've really seemed to solidify their outside corners. Got a nice rotation there. I mean, we'll see what Woolen looks like in year 3. He had kind of a down year 2 after year 1, but yeah, Artie's going to do his thing. Veteran presence. He is what he is.
Darrell Taylor got extended. He was an RFA. They met the deadline to get him extended. I'll say this, with Darrell Taylor, if you understand his role, then he's fine. If you accept the fact that he's a rotational pass rusher, and that's all that he's good for is being a pass rusher, that's okay. If you try to get him to do any more than that, try to put him as a run stopper, put him in coverage, try to make him a full-time starter, that's when it gets messy. He's a one-trick pony. He's a very good pass rusher, but that's all he can do. If Mike Macdonald understands that, then they'll be fine with Darrell Taylor.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, and Macdonald understands that kind of coming in more than I think even some of the Seahawks brass last year did. Because, like you mentioned, he was kind of in some of those precarious situations when he clearly didn't need to be. And, you just have to utilize your guys in the best situation possible. I mean, that's with any job, right? It doesn't matter if you're a football player. It doesn't matter if you're working or whatever. You need to be used to the best of your skill set to thrive and succeed in life. And for Darrell Taylor, it's rushing the passer.
Rayshon Jenkins going to play the safety spot. No Quandre Diggs, obviously.
Yep.
No Jamal Adams. Both those guys are gone. You do have Julian Love back, coming off a Pro Bowl campaign in 2024.
Yep.
Now you add Rayshon Jenkins back there. I think he's one of the most underrated players in football. Had 5 total interceptions in the last 2 seasons. You pair him up with Julian Love. I like that. I think that's an upgrade from the versions we got of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Quandre. He's been awesome for the Seahawks last few years. Last year, he was bad. That was the worst year of his career.
Yep. Father
Time caught up to him. Jamal Adams, obviously a liability. The Seahawks were better without Jamal Adams on the field. Rayshon Jenkins put him with Julian Love. Now you have my attention. And we've seen, you look at the Ravens defense. Here's a comparison for you. Geno Stone last year, 7 interceptions. Rayshon Jenkins, a turnover machine. I'd be intrigued to see if Mike Macdonald uses Rayshon Jenkins similar to what he did with Geno Stone.
Yeah, no, it'd be very interesting. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of parallels from Baltimore's defense last year in comparison to the Seattle defense with Macdonald coming over. Jenkins really did a nice job in, Jacksonville. And to be honest, when Quandre Diggs did leave, a little part of me just was very sad. He was obviously one of the best locker room guys, great interview, and obviously, when he was hitting, he was a great player. And it was honestly a really big shock that they released them both on the same day. I mean, both moves.
At the same time.
Yeah, literally. And, it was interesting to predict what direction they were going to go with that safety. I'm very happy with this Rayshon Jenkins move. You got a guy that's a proven, successful talent back there to pair, like you said, with Julian Love. I think the Seahawks are set at safety for the foreseeable future.
All right, let's talk about these next 2 guys. The man of the hour, Sam Howell, we'll get to in just a moment. George Fant. George Fant making his return to Seattle. Mm-hmm. I have a couple ideas here on this, Cullen.
Yep.
Here's idea number 1. George Fant, rotational swing tackle. Fill in for Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas when needed. Very good backup option, can get the job done. Big upgrade from Jake Curhan in that potential role. That's option number 1. Okay. Option number 2. George Fant was a starter last year for the Texans. He was okay. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. He was just okay. Over 1,000 snaps, I believe, for the Texans last year. I have concerns about Abraham Lucas's knee holding up and what Abraham Lucas can be if he's the long-term solution as your starting right tackle with those knee concerns. I think he might be better off moving him to guard, and you have a big need at guard. What about, between those 2 options, either Fant as your swing backup tackle for Lucas and for Cross, or starting him at right tackle and moving Abraham Lucas to guard? Which door would you choose?
I mean, I still really like Abraham Lucas as a tackle. When he's on the field, he's one of the best run-blocking right tackles, I think, in the National Football League. You've obviously mentioned the injury concerns. Charles Cross had him too last year. Had a couple injuries. I mean, Seattle was not the same football team when those guys were out of the lineup, either one or both. Could, Abraham Lucas work at guard? Sure. I mean, he'd be a tall-ass guard. I mean, he'd be,
He would, but you got now 2 tall quarterbacks.
It's true. It's true. So could it work in theory? Sure. I think George Fant was brought in here, though, because, both of Seattle's tackles are proven, kind of injury concerns at this point. And I think he could step in, like you said, at a moment's notice, fit it in. But if you're right with that, Abraham Lucas potential position move, be an interesting move to see.
Yeah, it would be. And now the man of the hour, Sam Howell. Trade details. We can go ahead and put the trade graphic up, if you will. The Seahawks trade a 3rd-round pick, 78th overall, and a 5th-round pick, 152, in exchange for Sam Howell, a 4th-round pick at 102. So they moved down from 78 to 102. A 6th-round pick, go from 152 to 179 to make this trade happen and bring Howell to Seattle. And let's make one thing clear, Cullen. He is there to be the backup.
Yes.
Geno Smith is still your starting quarterback. That does not change. But I think here's the situation for Geno going forward. People may ask, okay, what's it going to take for Sam Howell to get a shot? And there's 2 paths. Path number 1 is an injury to Geno Smith. Geno's had some injury problems. That very well may present a chance for Sam Howell to get the start and keep that job if he's playing well. That's door number one.
Right.
Door number two for Sam Howell is if Geno plays ass. If he plays like cheeks, then Sam Howell would get a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think with a new coaching staff, new scheme and all, and remember, Geno was always Pete Carroll's guy, okay? Not really John's guy. He was Pete's guy. He doesn't have Pete in the room advocating for him anymore. I don't think there's a long leash on Geno Smith. If Geno struggles, I could see them giving Sam Howell a shot. I see those two scenarios where Sam Howell could potentially be on the football field.
Yeah, to add to your point, Geno was in the front row during Pete Carroll's press conference, obviously, when he was announced that he was no longer going to be Seattle's head coach, openly in tears. Yeah, no, I think you nailed it on the head. I think, obviously injury, you don't pray for that. I'm knocking on wood as we speak. But, yeah, Geno, listen, he came in first year as a starter, lit the world on fire, was a Pro Bowler, had some really good stats, I think over 4,000 yards passing. Really had a nice connection with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, etc. Last year, not so much. Kind of took a step back a little bit, in some regards. And, Ryan Grubb's coming in. I really like Grubb coming in from Washington. I think he's a really innovative guy that's going to bring some new offensive ideas to this team. I'm really interested to see how he uses both Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. But a lot of pressure is now on Geno Smith because, as you mentioned, his guy's no longer in the building. Well, he may be in the building, but, he's...
We haven't really heard much from Pete since he left.
Right, exactly. So it's...
I don't know what that advisory role is for Pete right now because it just doesn't seem like he's around.
Yeah, it's at worst, it's basically the organization saying, we respect everything you've done. You have something here if you want it.
Honestly, with Pete's son now as the OC at Washington, I think he lives literally across the lake from their facility.
Right.
I think he's going to be around them more than he is the Seahawks.
That's an interesting, man. That, honestly, now that I think about it, you may not be wrong there. That's a crazy thing to think about, given,
his son's a good coach, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, let's go back to Super Chat menu.
Okay.
Here's where we're at. We have been live for over an hour.
Yep.
We are at $173 in Super Chats. We need just over 125 from Colin to do a boot. He is a diehard Seahawks fan. I would love to give him a proper introduction to the 12s by making the boot happen. But we can't do it unless we get to 300 in Super Chats. So, here's what we will do. I would love to stay live, keep on talking Seahawks football about this trade, whatever questions you guys have. But we need your help. $ next to the chat box to contribute and get your questions. That's the only way you can get on today's show is by Super Chatting. Let's get some Super Chats rolling. Let's get Colin the boot. And let's party. Let's have a good time.
Let's have a good time.
Let's talk Seahawks football.
You've heard us talk now, like Tyler said, over an hour. Hate our picks.
We've gone through every player added.
Exactly. Hate our takes. Love our takes. Let us know. Send in the Super Chat. Get in on the show. Let your voice be heard. This is the great thing about this company. This is the great thing about the show is we give, the fans a chance to voice their opinion.
Yes. That is how it's done, my friends. So, here's what we'll do. To put a little pressure on the folks out there,
okay,
I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. If we don't get a Super Chat of any amount in the next 2 minutes, we'll sign off. We'll get back to other stuff that we need to get done around here.
I know. This time is money with this place.
There's plenty of stuff to be done around here. I can tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes on the clock. We get a Super Chat of any amount. Clock starts right now. We'll stay live. We'll keep going. And hopefully we get to this Cullen boot here before the end of the show. But we have to get a Super Chat in the next 2 minutes to keep the show going. So that is what's on tap ahead. There we go.
There it is.
Eric coming in big.
There we go.
Resets the clock.
Resets it.
Resets the clock. And that puts us at 200 now with the 2 Super Chats that came in. So now we're 100 away from a Cullen boot. We're making progress here. $200 right now. Eric, you're getting your name out of the football. Eric writes, Kenny McIntosh, give the blueprint a chance. Let's talk about Kenny McIntosh for a second. DJ Dallas gone.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny McIntosh was injured for much of last year. More of a receiving back.
Yep.
I think he can step in, be your third down back, essentially replace DJ Dallas. I'm not concerned about replacing DJ Dallas on special teams. You got plenty of other guys, D. Eskridge, to do that. I think Kenny McIntosh could surprise some people. I liked that pick of Kenny McIntosh last year.
I did too. Obviously, it's hard to get on the field when you have guys like I mentioned earlier, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in your running back room. But, Kenny McIntosh, talented player coming out of Georgia, obviously really shown out. I believe it was training camp last year and / the preseason. So I want to see him get some reps. I really do. Will that happen this year? Hopefully so. I mean, you would think with drafting him, the Seahawks will. But it's, only time will tell. I think he can easily, like you said, fill in that DJ Dallas role, and I'm interested to see what he looks like going into this next season.
Eric, much appreciated to you. Cheers, my friend.
Salud.
Your name is added to the Football Hall of Fame. Much appreciated. Another one. We got a first time Super Chatter for Blake. Seahawks. Spam Blake.
Let's go.
Spam Blake in the chat. Much appreciated to Blake. First time Super Chat. We'll give him the old Macdonald song here in just a second, too.
Gotcha.
A couple more Super Chats rolling.
Yep.
There we go. You
Now
guys
they're
are fired
starting
up. Blake, much appreciated with that. I don't owe the old Macdonald song for Blake. I owe it for a couple Super Chats for now. But Blake, thanks for that $2 Super Chat. Blake, next time you send in a Super Chat, you can add a message. We can throw it on screen, whatever you got. We'll show you some love. But much appreciated. Everybody spam Blake in the chat with that. Then we got Alex Cruz. Says, been a while. Alex, welcome back. Alex, you are getting your name added to the football, my guy. Says, been a while. Alex Cruz. Colin, I got to say, I'll be honest. We put out so much content on the channel.
Yep.
It's nearly impossible to watch all of it. So when we have people like Alex that maybe haven't been here a while, you're always home here on Seahawks Today.
Always.
Always. Alex,
we appreciate you.
much appreciated. Alex Cruz's name added to the football. Alex is now in the MVP club here on Seahawks Today. We're going to give away this football at the end of the month as well, so stay tuned for that. Ryan's got the right idea. He's thinking about what we do during the season. We have a theme around here, Cullen.
Okay.
When games are going on, when we drink, we score. We drink, we win. Somehow it works every time. The more we drink, the Seahawks win football games. And it's a recipe that's been of success for 2 seasons of doing this show. Ryan's keeping the theme going. It might just need to be when we drink, we sign.
Yeah, there we go.
If you want the Seahawks to sign a linebacker, then we just got to do some drinking, I guess. So, Ryan, cheers to you.
Salud.
Let's do the DK song for old time's sakes for Ryan here.
All right.
Chop it, Carol. Carol. False start. Flag on the play. Chop it, Seahawks, chop it. Gino passes, no one stopping. DK. Touchdowns all day. He rules.
He rules, indeed.
Adam with a $5 super chat. Favorite Seahawks show, Papa Jones for press. Whoop! I can't remember who it was. Somebody started calling me Papa Jones organically through the chat like 2 years ago, and that stuck for whatever reason. The ladies, they can call me Daddy. You all in the 12s can call me Papa. That's fine. Adam, much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this show and doing your thing here on Seahawks Today. We'll do the old Macdonald song for Adam.
Okay.
Old MacDonald had a farm, C-I-E-I Hawks. There we go. Thank you, Adam. Much appreciated, Adam. All right, so with that, we are now closer and closer to this Colin boot.
Yep.
Happy to report we are $70 away.
Okay. Getting closer.
We're within striking distance. Colin, we're $70 away from this boot. I want to know, what do you think your time would be?
Here's the thing. My best ever was like 10.8, like just under 11 seconds.
10.8?
10.8 seconds. I don't know if I have that in me today.
That's faster than me and Smitty.
So I don't know how fast I can do it today. I'll give it my best shot. But yeah, that is my official timed fastest boot. It was 10.8 seconds.
10.8. for Cullen. My fast time's like around 12.
Yeah.
I think Smitty's is like 11. I did 3 boots on Monday, and I'm still recovering from it. But I am happy to report that all 3 of my boots that I did on Monday were under 20. That's always the goal around here. It's always a respectable number when you keep it under 20 seconds. Another first-time super chat. Oh, Canada. Felix for Felix.
Seahawks!
Seahawks! Seahawks! Let's go, Felix! Spam
Appreciate
Felix in the chat. I'll put Felix in the chat right now.
Let's go.
Much love to you, Felix. King Felix. Seattle fans will like that one. King Felix.
Yeah, there we go.
Your mortgage broker in Canada. Hawks from Montreal. Felix, I'm looking at buying a home in the near future. Can you get me a loan without a down payment? That's what I need, Felix. Can you get me a loan without a down payment?
Amen to that.
I would like to buy a home, but I don't want to have to put down a down payment if I don't have to. King Felix, much appreciated. Cheers to you, brother.
Salud.
With that $2.79 Canadian super chat. Much appreciated. Less than 70 away from the Cullen boot happening in 10.8 seconds is his number. Eric's saying a boot in 10.8. WTF. Yeah, we can potentially do that here. We got to give Colin a chance.
Have to.
But the clock is on. Another 2 minutes.
Another 2 minutes, okay.
I'm putting the clock on right now. Super chat of any amount. Show stays live. Otherwise, we have to sign off and get out of here. But I want to give Colin this chance. Can you give him a chance? Can you give him a chance at Das Boot?
Das Boot.
Can we get the $300? Less than 70 away. We could see history. This might be the fastest boot in the history of Seahawks today.
Maybe.
But we got to give him a chance.
Troy says if I beat 10.8 seconds, I'll donate $50. Like I said, 10.8 was pushing it. I don't know how fast I'll do it today, but I will give it my best effort.
All we can do is try.
Exactly.
A.J. Dillon going back to the Packers.
Interesting. Okay.
Super chat of any amount, we stay live. Got to get a little less than $70 to get Cullen that boot, to get him a chance at 10.8. 1 minute gone by.
You can in Canada if you have enough income to qualify with the down payment borrowed on line of credit.
Felix, here we
There
go.
we go.
Clock resets. Now we're down to less than 60 away.
Shout out to Blake.
Blake. He was a first-time super chatter earlier. Blake says, and Blake's going to get entered to win the knives now. Let me put him on the list. A lot of entries. These Seahawks knives are a very popular giveaway. I can tell you that much right now. Blake says, you think we signed Devin White and or Isaiah Simmons as they're on visits today? Okay. Let me clarify something. Devin White and Isaiah Simmons are not on visits today. That was fake news from a fake account.
Unfortunately so.
They are not on visits today. As nice as that would be, I'd rather have Simmons than I would Devin White, but I would take either at this juncture. They are not on visits. Trucker John 89, I'm a Tyler Jones fan. Thank you. I'm a Trucker John 89 fan too. So Blake, with that said, I would like to think one of them is going to sign, but they are not on visits today, unfortunately, contrary to popular belief. Blake, thanks for that $10 super chat. You are entered to win the knives we'll give away at the end of the month.
Salud.
Cheers to you. Less than 60 away from Das Boot for Cullen. Can he do it in 10.8? Are you going to give him the opportunity? Is somebody going to give Cullen the chance to get to Das Boot? We're at 142 right now, so less than 60. from the Colin Boot happening. Here's the Super Chat menu today. Any Super Chat equals a beer cheers. $5, we'll do the old McDonald's song. $10, we will get you a raffle ticket for our Seahawks knives that we'll give away at the end of the month. $20, get your name added to the Seahawks Today Football Hall of Fame. As you can see, we filled up the first part. Now we got more names to add. $50 will do a beer bong. And if we get more than 60 collectively, Cullen is going to do the boot, and he can do it in less than 11 seconds. That's what he tells me, which would be a record on this channel. Can we make it happen? Ryan, why do you only watch this channel during game days? My guy, you ought to be here every day. We're bringing you daily content on the channel, man.
For free.
For free. We're live every Wednesday as well. If you've had a great time with us for our live shows this week, don't worry. Oh!
Hey, here we go.
There's a 20. Caden getting his name added to the football. And now we're less than 40 away from the Cullen boot. Caden, I'll add your name to the football, and then we'll read the message here.
Yep.
Caden Cole, there you are, my guy. Caden and I, Colin, we're both from the great city of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
He is a loyal Seahawks Today watcher. Also checks me out on NFL Daily when I'm over there as well. Does a great job. And Caden writes, another 20 coming in as well. Now we're less than 20 away from the Cullen boot. We're making progress.
Getting close.
If we draft a linebacker, who do you think would be the best selection? Also, send that Hall of Fame football back to Tulsa. If you win it, it could be yours, Caden. I would love to see this in T-Town and get some love there. As far as linebacker options for Seattle here, I'll get to Scott's Super Chat in just a second. Let me answer this from Caden here.
Gotcha.
Off-ball linebackers. Not a great class, as we mentioned, but here's what we're talking about, Colin. Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M.
The one.
Junior Colson from Michigan. Seahawks had a visit with him at the Combine.
Yep.
Jeremiah Trotter from Clemson. Cedric Gray from North Carolina. Bookie Watson from Mississippi State. Junior Colson from Michigan, I think, would be the name to watch potentially.
Yeah, no. Like you mentioned, Seahawks had a meeting with him at the Combine. I think he could be a guy. Obviously, that Michigan defense last year was one of the best defenses in the history of college football. So to get a potential piece from that, I'm not going to hate it. I'm not. So.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go to the next one. Scott wants to know. And Scott's getting his name added to the football. All right, Scott Kolb down. I'm saying that right. Kolb, right? K-O-L-B.
I'm assuming so.
Scott, you got your name out of the football. Much love, my guy. Is there any middle linebackers in the trade market we can trade for? Off the top of my head, I don't know if anyone looking to trade their middle linebackers.
Yeah, no, linebackers pretty scarce right now in terms of what people would, I guess, even.
Because most teams, what they did was they just let their guys go if they didn't want them, like Patrick Queen.
I mean, yeah, right. It's free agency, so.
Patrick Queen, Isaiah Simmons, the teams that were, no one was just looking to straight up trade anybody. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Scott, thanks for the $20 super chat. Alex Cruz, and then Richard.
Getting close.
Now we're $6 away.
$6? Wow.
From the Cullen boot. Alex says, I'll be leaving for the military here next week. Alex, salute to you, my guy. Much love. I love the troops. Support the troops. Alex, thank you for your service. Much power to you. Thank you for serving our country, protecting us. I mean, let's be honest, folks.
Let us know what branch you're in also, or about to be in, I guess.
Alex, let me be honest here. Let me get on my soapbox here for a second. We're in troubling times as a country right now, if we're going to be frank with you. I mean, we got a war in Ukraine. We got a war in Israel that our government's funding right now. And I don't know what the end game is. A lot of it depends on how the election goes this November. I won't say anything about that. I really hope that we do what we can to protect our soldiers and keep our people at home as much as we can and look out for the best interest of the American people. Alex, for the circumstance we're in. Like, I don't know if we're going to go to World War III. For you to be willing to serve like that speaks volumes to you and the person you are. So, Alex, cheers to you. Thanks for everything, my guy.
Thank you for your service, Alex.
And then Richard with the first Todd Super Chatter for Richard. Seahawks, Seahawks, Seahawks. Everybody, spam Richard.
Let's go.
Richard with that first-time Super Chat. Much love, my guy. Richard is entering to win the knives. Let's go, Richard. I will add Richard's name to the list. Richard writes, you think they could be setting up to trade Geno? How trade makes 0 sense, go Hawks. I don't think they're trading Geno. I think Geno's still the starter, and Sam Howell is going to be the backup quarterback. And part of it, too, Colin, I don't think Geno's got much of a trade market. I don't think you're going to get much return.
Yeah, no, if I was a different team, I'd much rather have Justin Fields than Geno Smith at this point. I mean, in respect to Geno, I understand that he's a really good quarterback whenever he's on and everything, but if I'm looking at future potential contract situation and everything, he wouldn't be the first guy on my list, and that's just kind of the honest truth there. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't think there's a trade market either.
Yeah. Kason Reyes, good to see you. I just got off work. What do you grade the trade? Well, the chat is saying 37% B, 24% say C, 20% say A, D or F 19%. I went F. What was your grade, Colin?
About a D.
D?
Yeah, like it's not the worst trade in the world, but it's not great.
By the way, Kason, because I know you're just going to ask, because you were giving Smitty some shit yesterday of where he's at. Smitty got in trouble with the boss for throwing too much shade at J.J. McCarthy, so he was not allowed to work on today's show. He'll be back next week, but he got suspended by the bosses. So Colin, tread lightly.
I know.
When talking about J.J. McCarthy or any Michigan Wolverines.
Learn from the wiser.
Yeah. Here's where we're at. $6 away from the Cullen booth, which he says he can do in 10.4 seconds.
10.4.
Or 10.8.
10.8.
Can we make it happen? 1 minute on the clock. If we don't get a super chat of $6 or more, we sign off and we don't get to see Cullen do the boot. I would hate for that to happen.
Game all this way. I mean, we're right there at the finish line. Just finish.
We are almost there.
Just finish.
Almost there. $6 or more away. 1 minute on the clock. Can we get there?
Man, oh man.
Can we get there? $6 away.
Oh, there's 5 right there.
There's 5. That
Alex.
resets the clock.
Shout out.
Now we're $1 away.
$1 away. Shout out to you, Mr. Cruz.
And Alex Cruz. Because, of course,
Army.
it's Alex Cruz. I'm joining the Army.
Shout out the Army.
As well as my sister. Alex, that's very admirable. Very admirable on your part. We'll sing the Mike Macdonald song for you. Alex, much appreciated. Everybody salute Alex in the chat.
Salute.
Oh, McDonald had a farm. C-I-E-I Hawks. Very good. Very good. All right.
We just need one more.
We need $1.
We need $8.
For a Cullen boot.
Let me get $1. Please. Thirsty over here.
He's thirsty. He wants that boot.
Thirsty.
1 minute on the clock. We need $1 for Cullen to do his first ever boot on Seahawks Today, which he claims he can do in under 11 seconds. Can we get $1? Any super chat equals a beer cheers. $5, old McDonald song. $10 gets you a raffle ticket for the Seahawks knives. $20 gets your name added to the Seahawks Today Football Hall of Fame. $50 will do a beer bong. And $1 more away.
Can't even get him a chicken for $1 anymore.
You can't get anything for $1.
That's true.
I saw that Dollar Tree is closing.
Hey!
Dollar Tree's closing like 1,000 stores.
True.
Inflation kicked their ass, I guess. There's a couple.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Throw up on here. Blake, let's make this happen.
Blake says, let's make this happen.
Appreciate you.
Cheers to Blake. Much appreciated. And then Dirty Earl.
Shout out to you, sir.
As a first
Time
Super Chatter for Dirty Earl.
Seahawks!
Seahawks! Seahawks!
Let's get it.
Let's go Dirty Earl. All right.
Go.
So, Colin, let's do this.
Yep.
I'll go get the boot ready for you.
You're going to go get it?
No, I'll take care of it. Yeah.
I can go grab it. It's fine.
Okay, if you want to grab that,
Yeah,
fine.
I'll grab it.
Go get your boot ready.
Yep.
Grab some Tito's too.
Some Tito's, okay.
For every $5 super chat that comes in while Colin's gone, while he goes and gets the boot ready, we will add a shot of Tito's to the boot.
All right. Ready to go?
A jungle boot of sorts, if you will.
All right, I'll be right back.
Colin will be right back. So the boot is happening from Colin as he will try to set the record for the fastest boot in Seahawks Today history. But here's your chance to make the man have some Tito's vodka within the boot as well. Here on today's show. $5 super chat. We'll put it in Das Boot. $sign next to the chat box. You'd like to contribute to today's show. Grade the trade. 37% of you saying B. 25% saying C. 20% saying A. 18% saying D or F. The results today. Peter says, what's for dinner tonight, Tyler? Great question. There's the Tito's. Tito's has arrived. Every $5 super chat is a shot of Tito's in Das Boot for Colin. Peter says, what's for dinner tonight? I don't know what's for dinner tonight. Might just be an Uncrustable PB&J, to be honest with you. That might be the move. I'm going to eat when I get out of here. I can tell you that much. That is for certain. Every $5 super chat while Colin gets the boot ready is a shot. Oh! Rip butthole. That's 4 shots. 4 shots. Rip butthole. I can't put your super chat on screen because Colin's got the controls for that. We'll put it up when he gets back, but I will add you to the football. So at least 4. Anyone want to add any more? Anyone want to add any more? Locke versus Howell, which is a better backup? I think they're very close to each other. I think they're kind of honestly the same guy. They can make big plays and they turn it over. I would give a slight edge towards Howell, but not by a whole lot. All right, so Colin, let's put up this super chat, and then we'll have you do the boot here. So Rip Butthole bought you 4 shots. I'll throw this on screen just a moment, folks. Rip Butthole with a $20 super chat added into the Football Hall of Fame. Locke versus Howell, which is a better backup. I said, Colin, that Howell is better, but not by much. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you could really go either way, to be honest. The way Locke played last year really kind of swayed me on what I think of him as a potential NFL QB. So I tend to agree.
All right. So Colin's going to do the boot, and then we're going to get out of here. So Colin, go ahead and go full screen, if you will. I'll do the play-by-play. I'll get the clock going. And we'll see how long our guy Colin goes on this boot. Over under 11 seconds. 4 shots. We'll add accordingly. There we go. Shots are in. Yes. What you went with seltzer, huh?
Yeah, went with
A Happy Day. What flavor? Lime? Okay, good choice. Cullen's first ever boot on Seahawks Today. He's going for a record. He claims he can do 10.8. We're about to find out right now. Spam Chug in the chat. I'm going to put Chug in the chat right now for you. I want everybody spamming Chug and show some love to Cullen here.
I'm going to do my best. I don't know if I got 11 seconds to me.
We'll find out. Yep. Here we go. Count them down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Clock is on. He's chugging. He's going one-handed on this. This is an aggressive boot. Still going. Got a little spillage. We're past 11 seconds, but this is still strong. Oh. 14.6. Hell of a job, my guy. Not quite 10.8, but a valiant effort. A valiant effort at that. Everybody spam Cullen in the chat. Spam Cullen. That was a great effort. Cullen getting the job done. The seltzer boot with Tito's. The Tito's provided a little extra kick. Put your mic back on for a second here, Cullen.
Yeah.
How you feeling after that?
Feeling pretty good. Oh, that definitely kicked my butt a little bit. It's been a while since I've done a boot, so that was a humbling experience, but solid job. I'll take it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Everybody spam Cullen in the chat. We will sign off. Folks, a lot of fun today. Sam Howell is a Seahawk. I am shocked. I didn't see it coming, and here we are. Continuing coverage here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe to the channel now. If they make any more moves, you'll be the first to know about it. It's been a fun week. 3 live shows this week, and we made it. Even if Smitty couldn't make it, we still charge on ahead. Have a great rest of your night. So long, everybody. We'll see you next time.